Do you have this favorite quote that you will love to draw in a composition, but you cannot overcome the fear of the blank page? Don't you worry. In this video, I will guide you step by step through the whole process of making the perfect hand lettering composition. This video is perfect for all of you who have been playing around with different lettering styles and want to jump into the next level. For this video, I will be using a pencil and eraser to sketch up some ideas and thumbnails for a composition. For inking my composition, I'll be using double-ended watercolor brush pens and Triplus fiber tip pens. You can use regular copy paper to sketch some ideas, but find yourself a good piece of smooth paper with around 200 grams per square meter for your final artwork. You may also need a ruler to transfer your layout to your final piece of paper. You will find a list of all the used products in the description box below. For this composition, I'm going to be following some steps that you can always follow when you're facing a new piece of artwork or a new project. The first step is always to take a good look at the sentence that we want to draw. The message that we're trying to convey will guide us through our design choices. I recommend that you choose a sentence that has 5 to 10 words, so you can play around a little bit with styles, but you don't run out of space for your words and your decorations. I'm going to choose the sentence, "You never know who you are inspiring." So I'm going to write it here on the top of the page. The next step is to underline or circle the words that we think are the most important in our sentence. Those are the words that help convey the message the most. In this case, I'm going to underline you, never know who you are, and inspiring. So the main words in my compositions are you, who, and inspiring. We will draw those in a bigger size, an eye-catching style, or brighter colors. And never know and you are will be the auxiliary or secondary words, and we will draw those in a smaller size and simple style. Okay, now we're going to create some thumbnails. Thumbnails are rough sketches of what our composition should look like, and they're supposed to be small, and we should complete them in no more than 5 minutes. The idea is to test some combinations of layouts and different lettering styles to choose the one that we like the best and continue working on that one. Because believe me, it is really frustrating when you've been working on a design for hours just to find out in the end that it doesn't look like you had visualized in your mind. So I'm going to draw those sketches with a pencil. There are some decisions that we have to make before starting sketching our thumbnails. The first one is the orientation of the paper or the aspect ratio. Is it going to be square for social media, or is it going to be in landscape, which is better for banners or logos, or is it going to be a portrait, which is good for posters or book covers? We have to draw our thumbnails with the same aspect ratio. For instance, in my case, I'm going to choose portrait, so I will draw a very rough rectangle here that is the same as my A4 paper, the same aspect ratio, but smaller. Then we're not going to start drawing the letters right ahead, we're going to create boxes, because it's much easier to draw our layout with boxes. Then we will put the words inside them, and they can be horizontal, diagonal, or curved. And the last thing to take into account is the lettering styles. I advise you to use contrasting styles that create visual interest, for instance, serif and monoline, or sans serif and brush lettering. Here I need a box for the word you, another one for who, and another one for inspiring. And these other words, I will group them and put them together in the same box. So for you, for example, I can draw a curved line here, like this. Then an horizontal one for never know, which will be smaller because those are secondary words. A big one for who can be down here. You are, small one, over here. Something like that, doesn't matter if it's small. And inspiring will be at the bottom and also curved to create some balance with this one. Don't forget about the margins of your paper, so maybe I need to span this a little bit here so the composition has enough room to breathe. I'm going to fill the words now, and I'm going to choose a brush lettering style for you and who, for instance. So I start with those. I can write you here, like this, trying to fit the box. And who? Of course, you can use an eraser if you are not happy with any of your choices, and try it again. Okay, and I'm going to use a sans serif style for inspiring. It's always a good idea to mark the center of the thumbnail and then count the letters in your word and find the middle point. This is the center, and that eye should be placed more or less in the center of your thumbnail as well. Something like this. And then for never know and you are, I'm going to choose also sans serif style, but in a smaller size. So I will try to fit those words here. And you are really tiny here. And of course, we have some empty spaces around our composition, but we will talk about decorative elements in the next video. This is just one idea of a thumbnail, but I'm going to show you some other ideas I've been working on for this sentence. It's okay to play around with different style, different ideas, with some curved banners like here, with different styles for the main words to see which ones you like the best. And when you have 3 or 4 ideas, choose the one you like most. For me is this one, and you can see that I also took some notes of the styles I want to use and also some decorations. Once you're ready with your thumbnail, it's time to transfer it to your final piece of paper. You can use a ruler to do that, a ruler and a compass if you have one. I have already done that, and it's here. It's good to have these layouts because sometimes we have a sentence that we can fit in a prefixed layout. Maybe you have 2 or 3 words here for this box, or you need to make some a little bigger or a little smaller depending on your sentence, but this is a great resource to have at your disposal. So once your layout is ready in your final artwork paper, we are going to transfer the words themselves. We're going to sketch them with a pencil. And keep in mind that the line that a pencil makes is thinner than the line that a brush pen makes. So you have to leave extra space between the letters. We're going to transfer the design, so I will keep this one here and start drawing the skeleton of my letters. Don't press too hard here because you will need to erase those lines later, and if they are too hard, you will be able to see them in your final piece of art. I always start with the most important words. And then we can fill up these little boxes. And you can see that my letters are not touching the borders of the box, but that's because I'm already planning on drawing a banner here, so I need some space between this word and this word. It's always a good idea to leave some extra space for decorations or for shadowing, so you don't run out of space when everything is inked. And inking is our next step, but before that we will have to choose our color palette. You can find more about what the colors mean and which color combinations work best in color theory. But for this one, I have already chosen my palette and I'm going to be using these colors. I love these turquoise, and yellow and purple are complementary colors, and that means that they create a lot of contrast, so the result will be very interesting. Decorations are something that we are going to do in the next video, so let's ink our letters first. Just one more thing to consider before starting inking. Now it's not a good time for improvisation or experimentation. Our design is already set, so try to follow your sketch as closely as possible. But of course, always trust your hands, your muscles, and try to draw the lines in the most natural way. You can rotate your paper if that's better to create some lines. And be careful with your strokes. Remember, when you're going up, you create thin lines. When you're going down, you create thick lines. And let's do it. It's also a good idea to place a piece of paper on top of what you have already inked, so you don't color your hands or smudge the colors on the paper. And as you can see, the lines that I just created with the brush pen are thicker than the pencil lines, so it's also a good idea to create a rough sketch with your brush pens before you ink the final one. For these letters, I'm going to use a Triplus fiber tip pen that will create thinner lines. Now we are ready with the inking of the letters. As you can see, I haven't used the yellow color because I'm going to use it for decorations, and it will bring some light into my composition. And you have to wait until the ink is completely dry to erase your pencil lines, because otherwise you will smudge the colors all over the paper, and we don't want that. And the last step, but not the least, is to be proud of the artwork you just created. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. There's always room for improvement, but you created something unique, and I'm sure that it is worth showing. Feedback and constructive criticism from artists you trust will help you improve and create better and better letterings every time. You can download and customize your own composition templates at the Hand Lettering Creator. You will find designs for many different occasions, so follow the link below and check it out. Creating this piece was a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy watching it as well. So don't forget to like this video and do your own version of it. I cannot wait to see what you create, so don't forget to share your results on social media using the hashtag #MyDesignJourney. To see the final piece, you can check our next video, where I will also show you my ultimate collection of decorations that anyone can draw. You will be able to use them on your journals and your planners too, so surely you don't want to miss it.